the passionate fans who are not here today.
You're listening to the RPM Podcast.
And here we are again, episode 183 of the RPM Podcast. It is September 14th, 2020 at 7:20 p.m. I'm Scott Riggleman in Manchester, New Jersey. My brother Tim Riggleman is up in Farmingdale, New Jersey. Tim is America's spotter. Tim, how are you?
I'm good, ready to go. Thank you.
Did you do any spotting this weekend, or did you have the weekend off?
I did not spot for anywhere this weekend. I just went to Wall Stadium and watched the races.
And down in Waretown, New Jersey, the producer of the show, we have Joshua Matthews. Joshua, how you been?
Good. Looking forward to getting my elbow chopped up on Friday.
What are you going in for surgery for that?
Yep. Tennis elbow. They're going to cut it open, clean it up, and try to reattach part of the tendon because like half the tendon came off. So, yeah. Fun stuff.
I remember when I was back working at the precious metal company, driving truck for Cambridge Lee Industries. One of the guys that worked there, he went to pick something up, and you know the muscle in your arm that you make that looks big. You know, I forget what it's called,
like the bicep, tricep thing. Yeah.
His broke off. Like he was picking something up, and it literally like where it's attached by your elbow popped off, and it rolled up into a ball up by his shoulder. Oh. It was the most disgusting thing I ever saw in my life, man. He said he literally went to the hospital. They cut his arm open, pulled his muscle back down like a rubber band, and just tied it back on.
Yeah. That's what they're looking to do.
All right, guys, we got a lot to get to today. Basically, what we're doing today is we're going to do all the local results because all our local tracks raced. We had Wall Stadium, New Egypt, Bridgeport. We'll even hit Evergreen plus the Sunday Series race, and we had some quarter midget racing going on too at Wall Stadium on Saturday night. So we kind of want to hit all those bases. We probably won't get to Mahoney Valley. Maybe we'll just mention the champions because it was their championship night over at Mahoney Valley. But we got a lot of local stuff to get to. But I do want to start the show off real quick. We haven't done this in a while. We always a little thing like we used to do in grade school and stuff like that. Show and tell. Today I'm getting ready to go to Florida again. We're actually flying out Sunday night.
Do you have your gay backpack and everything?
Yeah, my Simpson backpack will be packed. But I wanted to order a book for the flight down. Every time I fly, I have a book for the flight down and the flight back. It roughly gives me about 6 hours of reading time. I can usually get through a book in about 6 hours. So the last one I read was the Bobby Allison book, and I did it on my Kindle. This time I just wanted to order a regular book. This way I didn't have to worry about it being charged, being able to see it, getting it through, security. I just wanted a book and something to hold and read, the old way. So I did. I went on Coastal 181 and ordered a book. Man, amazing. I ordered this thing I think Friday night or something like that. And I got it already today. It's already here. For my reading pleasure heading down to Florida, I got The Soul of a Modified, Len Bowler's Old Blue, written by Lou Boyd. I just wanted to show it to you real quick.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, pretty cool book. So I'm going to read that. I did, flip through the pages when I first got it. Does a little segment on every driver he ever had. I mean, some of the familiar names we saw, Rowan Pennick, he's a friend of ours. Jamie Tomano drove it. Going back in the day, Bugsy Stevens was his first big-time driver. They even won national championships together. So I'm going to read that on my vacation, and then when I get back, we'll move it from show and tell to recommendations and reviews. So anybody wants a racing book, I can highly recommend you going to coastal181.com, and they got lists and lists and lists of books, and it was so easy to order. Just filled it out, give them your credit card number. Next thing I know, I had a confirmation email in the mail right away. Within a few days, it was in my mailbox. So when I get back, I'm going to order that new, the book that I had that lists all the racetracks in America, past and present. I want to get that updated book so we have that for the show, because I still haven't found the old one, but I don't really care because it didn't even have a lot of tracks in it,
Right.
So, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this book. But moving on to that.
Scott, you mentioned Jamie Tomano. Didn't he have the honor of doing something at that the Musket 200?
Yeah, up in New Hampshire, they had the big Musket 200, which was used to be the 250. Tim, do you know why they shortened that race up? Was that a COVID thing, or did they plan on shortening it up anyway?
No, they just made it a little shorter. That's all.
Yeah. Do you think 200 is the right number? Do you think 250 was too long?
I think 200 is better.
Yeah.
because you get to about 200, and you're like, oh, another 50 to go. 200. You put it 100 laps in, then you get 100 laps to race. It works out better that way.
So you like the 200 number better than the 250?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Would you like 150 better than 200, or are you happy with 200?
I'm okay with 200 if they want to make that like the premier race of the year type thing like that.
Mm-hmm.
We do enough 150 lap races.
Right. Yeah, no, 200's cool.
But
Jamie Tomato and Jan Levy, they were actually the grand marshals of the race. Pretty cool. They got to say, gentlemen, start your engines and everything like that. So that was pretty cool. Jamie being a former modified champion, and Jan Levy, I think, has a win up there in New Hampshire on that big track.
He also got hurt real bad there.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, and he came back to win. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So, yeah, they were the grand marshals. They said, gentlemen, start your engines. So that was pretty cool. They got a little bit of the limelight up there. I did not see the race because I was getting ready to go to Wall. It was on that track pass.
Yes.
At Newman on Saturday.
NBC track pass, yes.
Yeah.
But that was cool. I just a neat little local tie-in on, something else. So I just figured we'd mention it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Moving on to Wall Stadium, we're going to do the results and a quick recap. I didn't see any of the racing because I was over at my own race cars. My brother was in the grandstand, so he's going to help us out with the recaps of the race. It was Carnival night. It was $10 to get in at night. The weather was perfect. It cooled down nice, no humidity. It was a perfect night to go to the races. I did notice when I pulled down for my heat race, there was not that many people in the grandstands. Tim, did it fill in by feature time in the grandstands?
Yeah, most definitely. There were a lot of people there during the heat race. I think they were all, maybe the kids were all playing the games and stuff up top. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There was a lot going on there. The parking lot was, well, then again, the quarter midgets were down there, but the parking lot was definitely full. And by feature time, I think it was over half full, So,
yeah, it was. It was a great night to be at the racetrack. It was Carnival night. It was only $10 to get in. Me and Tim discussed it. That's like the magic number. That's what twists people's arms to say, all right, let's go to the races tonight. It's only $10 to get in. You know what I'm saying? The diehard fan, they'll pay $30 to get in. They don't care. But the casual fan, when you wave, it's only $10 to get in. There's Carnival games going on. They're bringing the families out. They even look at the schedule, say, all right, we'll go to the races twice this year, and they'll pick the family fun nights, Carnival nights at the discount prices when the
especially when you have a family, because I know that it adds up when you start bringing the kids and everything like that. So to lower the price, it lets them have an easier night, and then they usually have so much fun stuff set up for family oriented activities and things like that. So I love it, and it would be hard to overdo it. You know what I mean? I mean, as far as holding too many of those nights, I think it would be hard.
They just had Carnival night a couple of weeks ago. That's why I was surprised there was another one so fast.
Yeah.
Tim, what did you notice about Carnival night? What makes it Carnival night in the grandstands?
I think there was actually a little different this time. The first time they had like a big blow-up house. I don't remember seeing that there this time. They have like games, where you throw the ball in the cups and all this. I really don't go over to them and watch the girls play, but it keeps them busy, whatever they're doing over there. Last time they like I said, they had a big bounce house. They've had the dunk tank there before. This will be your little normal Carnival type games.
They have like any face painting or balloon sculpture guys or anything like that?
They have in the past, not this time. They didn't have. They usually have the where you throw the ball and try to knock the cats off the wall.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, I didn't. This was all packed. We actually got there early enough. I don't know. I honestly don't know what they had this time. Nothing major, that's for sure.
All right, thanks for the report. You're doing a great job.
It was probably just the leftover stuff from the first one.
That's what I was thinking. They just had Carnival night a few weeks ago. Maybe they didn't get rid of most of their stuff, so they just had it again to get rid of some, their surplus from the first time they had Carnival night, which is a good idea, All right, so the first racing division down the hill was the Legend cars. I didn't get to see the race, but I did listen to it on not on the scanner, but I could hear it over the PA system. I know there was some rough riding going on early in the race with the leader and stuff like that, but I guess it all got sorted out. Thomas Tavola was able to win the Legend car race, and I got to know him a little bit because we call him Gas Station Dan, but Dan Layden does a lot of work on that car, and I think they keep it at Dan's auto repair place. So it was good to see them get the win because they're the type of team that's there every week, and for them to get a win is a good thing. Josh, you have the Tim. Anything you want to say about the Legend Car race?
Yeah, it was a great race actually. The last 5 or 6 laps, they were side by side, 1 and 2, all the way around, and it came to where that guy just nudged him, got ahead of him like a lap and a half to go. It was a good race.
Well, I was going to say real quick, Leanne Cherry, she had motor troubles, and I forget the name.
She got in somebody else's car.
Yeah, she hopped in another car. Somebody lent her a car, which was really cool. So she was able to get out there for the feature. So I just did want to bring that up because it's just another example of our great racing community, people helping each other out. So that she was able to make the feature. So with that, I'll go.
Well, hold on, Tim. With that Legend car battle for the lead, and you said the one guy nudged the other guy. Did the other guy spin, or was he able to continue and finish?
He kept going.
Yeah.
He finished right behind him.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the winner was Peter Bruno out of Little Silver, Mike Fulton, Brian Gardella, Eric Green, Joe Prisbalinski, Steve Wozniak, Phil Bogdan, Eddie Idek, Roger Nickerson, Quinn Trimmer, and Leanne Cherry.
All righty. I thought I said Thomas DeWall. I guess I was wrong with the guy's name who won. What was his name?
Peter Bruno.
Okay. All right, and the next on the hill, I think, was the 4-cylinders.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you have, Josh?
I got the 4-cylinders right up here. Sal Ligori got the win. Is there anything else you want to talk about with the 4-cylinders at all?
Tim?
It was a good race. Action packed. It was TJ Graves. He makes it action packed whenever he's there. He was coming through the field, and somebody spun in front of him or something. They all piled in behind him. All the good cars, actually. I thought, well, that's it. That wasn't going to be there's the race, but they all ended up finishing. It was a good race.
Josh, what was the car count like in that race?
16. I'm showing.
I was going to say about 15. Yeah.
Well, now I had seen that Darianne, she also had engine troubles and wasn't going to be able to make the race.
The engine blew up or something in practice or something like that.
Yeah,
which is weird. You never really see those 4-cylinders blow engines like that.
She's had a tough year because she also blew a trans up earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they got that repaired. I just wanted to make a joke about her blowing a tranny, but although I do show her actually in the race ending up 15th, so I'm not sure if she hopped in another car. It wasn't her sister's car because her sister ended up 10th, which great show for Deanna. I heard that she led a half of her heat race, so that was a really good, a huge improvement to see from Deanna. So just awesome. They have a good group of racers there. So moving forward, as I mentioned before, Sal Ligori got the win, followed by Ian Ashford, Sean Voxanic, Doug Ashford, Ryan Marr, Alonzo Morales, William Cross, TJ Graves, Nicole Rosano, and as we mentioned before, Deanna McLaren. Let's see. Well, who was up after the 4-cylinders?
Scott, is that Ryan Marr? Is that part of like Scott and Doug and all them?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I towed a couple of cars from him. Like he had parts cars, and he'd strip them out, and he would give me the shell to get rid of them when he was done. It was actually at that same house when we were kids, Tim, where Doug Marr kept his modified. Over there in Shark River Hills. Mm-hmm. It was their uncle's house. Yeah, so he is related to Doug and Scott Marr. I'm thinking that's his nephew because the car's kept over at that same house.
Oh wow!
And it's funny too because the one car I picked up for him had a New Hampshire inspection sticker on it, and I'm like, "Oh, how'd you get a car with a New Hampshire inspection sticker on?" I figured someone down here had a car from New Hampshire and broke down and junked it or whatever. He's like, "No, I found it online and I drove all the way up to New Hampshire to pick it up because it had the right motor with the right transmission." You know what I'm saying? Like they look for like the Ecotech I don't know, 2.4 or something like that, or 2.2 or something like that with a manual transmission. And I guess that's a hard combination to find. So he found that combination, but he had to run all the way up to New Hampshire to pick it up, you know?
Well, I think part of it is also, remember a few issues years ago with the 4-cylinders, it was that the engine number had to be matching, not to the original chassis of the car, but for that year of car. Like if
matching VIN number.
Yeah, if that VIN said that it couldn't have come with a, whatever liter, so yeah, these guys are now kind of put in a spot that if they blow a motor, they got to go find, they have like 2 options of motors or something, or they have to get a new car. So
that's kind of why I stay away from the 4-cylinders. You damn near need to be a service tech or a mechanic to set one up and work on it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're computerized and stuff like that. And that's where, Darian and her sister have it pretty good because the father, Bruce, that's what he does for a living. He works on cars. So he knows how to do all that stuff. And that's a big help. Matter of fact, I see Bruce McConnell running around helping a lot of the 4-cylinder guys because, he's so good at working on them,
Yeah. It's one thing that, like you said, it's the factory stocks. I mean, they're a lot more bare bones, and I'm kind of not jealous of the 4-cylinders. I mean, yeah, they look like fun and all, but I even heard criticisms that the people in tech, and this is just what I've heard, and people saying stuff. This is not my opinion by any means, but saying that a lot of the guys in tech don't know these cars that well because they're too new.
You know? Like, I'm sure they have to go home and research a lot of it. Probably a lot of stuff that goes across the scale, they not 100% sure. I mean, back in the day, I remember like Pride Connor over in New Egypt and a couple other guys, they would run Chryslers because the tech officials didn't know much about them. They can get away with stuff,
Right.
The suspension stuff. Because you see 100 Chevys go across the scales, and then you're dealing with a Chrysler you really don't know,
Yeah.
You're dealing with that in the modifieds of Connecticut there. Jimmie had that big flamethrower Dodge motor because they didn't know if it was legal or not. Nobody even there was nothing to compare it to. So, with Rob Heyer and Steve Puglisi in tech, I'm sure if something goes across the scale, they note it down and then they go home and research it just like anybody else, and then they can figure it out and get an answer for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one of the things you have to put your faith in the tech guys, but at the same time, they're human. So how can you expect them to know every single, computer out of every single car? Yeah, it's difficult, and they do another thankless job, just like being a race director. You only want to talk to them when you're mad at them. So it's an interesting thing, but I think that it's going to. I think maybe something should be opened up in that area, like the engine matching thing, just as these cars get.
Yeah, harder. I mean, if you got a Chevy Cavalier and say they came with like a 2.2 engine that's not an Ecotec engine, and they came with a 2.4, which is an Ecotec engine, you should be allowed to either run either or. Just like when the factory stocks started, Josh, you're allowed a 305 in a Monte Carlo or a 350.
Right. I
in time, those cars are still abundant. There's a lot of them out there. Like the factory stocks was the same thing we discussed. Now they have to go to like Crete Motors. Pretty soon you're going to have to run aftermarket buys because it's just not going to be available anymore.
Right.
I was talking to a kid up at Grandview Speedway when I ran the Enduro up there. I said, I'd run a 4-cylinder, but I don't know how to work on them. Like I always say to people, he's like, come look at my car. He's like, a monkey can work on my car. He's like, there's nothing left of it. It's all stock, and every wire and computer part is eliminated. Like, I bypassed everything, and now it's simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's So it's almost how much you can weed out of it without and still make it run. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no. My luck, I'd pull the one thing that without that sensor, it doesn't start.
Well, me and Tim used to do that with the demo cars, and we learned too that you just cut one wire at a time.
Yeah.
And you start the car. So you literally snip a wire, start the car, it starts. Okay, that one's, we don't need that one. Snip another wire, start the car. All right, we don't need that wire. Snip a wire, the car won't start. Oh, we need that wire, tie that one back together. That's how we used to do it, process of elimination. It would take forever, but Tim would sit in there with cutters, and he would sit there and splice the wires and keep starting the car. That's how we will eliminate all the the power windows and the power seats and power antenna.
I would take every single wire out that I could.
Yeah,
short it out.
Oh yeah. But even then, bypassing that emergency fuel shut off for accident, things like that.
That was actually easy because in the Fords, it was a little box in the back and it had 2 wires going to. You pretty much just snipped them and tied them together, and you got rid of that switch. Inertia switch it was called. That one was actually pretty easy, but it was amazing. Like when we would strip a demo car out, how many wires were in that car, and when we were all said and done, how many wires you did not need for that car to run. You only needed a couple for it to run. Like literally, there'd be 100 wires, and you'd be down to like 4 wires when it was all said and done.
Which the odd thing is that number of wires is actually coming down with the newer cars, especially those CAN bus systems, where it just runs. It's almost like having an Ethernet cable.
It's plug-in. It's all plug-in stuff now.
Yeah, and it just goes by data signals, and then it goes to more wires after you get into the door. So it's like 2 wires coming in, but then it splits to the windows and the locks and all the other stuff.
I watch people change motors in newer cars, and like you said, it plugs in like a computer. They literally take the motor out, and there's like a couple plugs, and you unplug them, and that's it. You put the new motor in, you plug it in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. So, all right, enough of that tangent, though. But that was fun.
Anyway, that 4-cylinders they still hold a good amount of cars every week, and the racing's good. So,
the division's not even that old. I mean, it wasn't the only time you saw 4s when I actually started going to Wall. Let's say 09, 10, 11, something like that. The 4-cylinders were really only there for the Enduros. And then they opened it up, and one of the big things was that you could use the stock fuel tank as long as you had that bar. And then I know it's gotten a lot farther since then.
When they did switch, you have to run a fuel cell. It made it difficult because now you had to figure out how to hook up an electric fuel pump to a fuel cell, and some people struggle with that.
Yeah. Outside of doing an inline pump.
Josh, I'm not saying they're still out there, but I remember a few cars just put like a dummy fuel cell in. It left the stock tank, They ran wires to it to make it look like it worked, and they still ran on the stock tank,
I know of a car that was running in a different division that had dummy fuel shutoff.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, just because it was too much of a pain for them to pipe it with a valve and all that. Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I get it. So
sometimes you got to get through tech and make it out on the track. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the next division down was the Sportsman, better known as the caution stocks.
There we go. How bad were they?
I tell you what, I was in my car waiting to go out, and there was a few cautions like normal, but I did listen to it on the scanner, and it sounded like a pretty exciting race. One notable was Kevin Ayers. He took a couple years off from racing, and it was his second week back, and he actually ran very well in that race. And I think he led for a little bit, right, Tim?
He definitely led for a little bit. In the beginning of the race, there was a black 77. I don't know who that is.
That's Rob Anderton.
He was running strong. He was out. He had a straightaway almost on the whole field except for Kevin. Kevin was about half a straightaway behind him, and then Kevin had like a half a straightaway on the rest of the field. And I think Kevin might have burnt his car up a little bit trying to catch that kid. Kevin did end up getting by him on a restart or something, but Kevin's car wasn't as fast as it was in the beginning of the race as it was towards the end. And Neil Rutt finally ended up getting around him. I think a couple other guys did. I don't know if Kevin finished second or third or something like that, but
I think Kevin ran third, which is a good run for him.
Yeah, he ran really good for not being there in a long time. It was a good race.
I'm not sure, but I know Neil Rutt was second in points. I don't know if this catapulted him to first or not, but I'm sure it's going to be real. He's either in the lead or a really, really close.
I think the 33 finished second, didn't he?
Who?
The 33.
Yeah, but I think that the Nelke was first in points. So
he finished fourth.
He finished fourth, so I know it's real close because Neil gets the 5 bonus points for a win. He's either leading by a couple points or he's in second by a couple points. That's turning into a real tight points battle in that Sportsman division.
And the DiTomaso kids take a lot of crap from a lot of people that they're dirty drivers. That 33, he could have taken Neil out whenever he wanted to. He was clearly faster, just wasn't fast enough to get around Neil. So he could have cleaned him out whenever he wanted. So he wasn't a dirty driver. They call him the Malachi brothers up by where
That was good though. It was good to see Neil get the win. That's the old Jeff Lane car. That was a car Jeff Lane owned a couple of years ago. It's owned by Chris Kilbride. Chris raced that wall many years ago. He took a little bit of a break from racing and he came back full tilt with Neil driving. Chris is a real good guy around the racetrack.
Yeah, he seems to be enjoying himself.
Yeah, he does seem to be smiling and everything like that. Chris started racing over there with the Buckleys, racing the old Wall Stadium trucks, and he did race with the modifieds for a little while when the modifieds left to go to Flemington and stuff, and the Mad division turned into the main division. Chris raced that for a while, and then he took a little hiatus from racing, and he came back this year, and he teamed up with Neil Rutt and Neil Rutt the third, and they help work on the car and everything like that. So I'm glad to see Chris have some success and have some fun racing. I always tease him. I'm like, it's time for you to make a comeback. It's time for you to get in that car. He's like, yeah, maybe someday. Right now we're focused on Neil. So I would like to see Chris at least go take it out for a few hot laps.
The car is capable of winning, but
a pretty car too. It's one of the cleanest, nicest cars out there. No crazy stripes on, just a real cool blue with a nice 66 on it. They keep it really clean. A very, very nice race car.
And I've said it before, Neil Rutt, the third, he can drive just about anything. You throw him in it, give him a little time.
And he's like the right size for a race car driver for a modified. Like he fits in it good. He's smaller. He's not real heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the perfect size. I mean, when me and Tim growing up, a lot of the best modified drivers were small. They were small guys. You know what I'm saying? Like jockeys, like in horse racing. And Neil's the perfect size to be a modified driver.
No, it's like I said. I've seen him race in plenty of things, and he could win in pretty much anything you throw him in. So,
and I give a lot of credit. I mean, Neil is a great driver. I'm not taking anything away from him. I tell you what, I give his father a lot of credit too, because whatever car Neil gets in, Neil's dad works on it, and it never seems to smoke or leak. It always handles well. It runs good. Like Neil's a mechanic by trade. And it crosses over from what he does with his day job over to his race cars, and their race cars always run well.
Oh yeah, except for when a weld fails on the steering column, which that was scary when that happened, and knowing that they cut the roof on that car to get him out. But that was another. We've mentioned Eric Graham on the radio and stuff. I mean, he gave us all an update like, hey, he has a little neck pain. Otherwise, he's okay. They're just taking their time getting him out. So we knew that he wasn't like in a coma or something like that.
All right. So next down the hill were the popular factory stock division.
Wait, I didn't read off the top 10.
Oh, God.
Okay, so Neil Rutt the third gets the win, followed by Carson D. Giant Tommaso, Kevin Ayers, Jake Nelke, Jarrett D. Giant Tommaso, Thomas Stanonis, Eric Lane, Rob Anderton, Jeffrey Loesch, and Ryan Fisher. So yeah, that's your top 10. They had 14 cars out there. There was one DQ. I don't know where he finished on the track, but yeah. So, okay, that's all I got. So, actually, real quick, a shout out to Michael Wolcott. He's been helping, the Wolcotts have helped and been involved with racing forever and ever. And Michael Wolcott was spotting for Neil. And, so it was good.
Yeah, he has been over there helping Neil. So he's spotting for Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so it was good for him to get that win, at least from the spotter side. I know it's normally blame the spotter when everything goes wrong, but, having a spotter is definitely important. So, Yeah, I just thought we should give him a quick mention. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So next on the hill is a very popular factory stock division. We had a strong field of 23 cars. We had our share of cautions too. Unfortunately, I was one of them, and it was kind of a lengthy caution. I got spun and plowed into, and the end result was Johnny Carpenter's bumper went up and over my left front tire. So my left front tire was stuck between his front bumper and, like, say, his radiator.
Oh.
And we're kind of like in the shape of a number 7. So it was hard for the track crew to get in there with the tow trucks and pull us apart. But they were able to do it. And I didn't even get a flat tire or nothing. I was able to continue. But it did happen a little late in the race. So it did put me way back in the field. But I was able to get back up to 8th in only a few laps. So it wasn't a great night for me, but it wasn't a horrible night for me.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, right?
Could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot worse. I did get up to like 4th, and I thought I was going to have a shot. I don't know if I could have beat Brian. Brian was very fast, but I think I could have got like a 2nd or 3rd, and it just wasn't my night. There was a few spins. There was a few wrecks. Nothing major. I mean, there were some bent up parts, but nothing too bad. So I think everybody in that race should be able to make it back next week, no problem. We're showing strong fields. 23. They'll start 24. I would hope if 25 or 26 showed up, they would start us all. But
I say
we had
23
23 cars, and it
36.
was a good race. I want to congratulate Brian O'Shea for winning again. He came back super fast. The last couple of weeks, he hasn't been up to his normal fast speed. So for him to come back and be right back to where he was at the beginning of the year, he's definitely back on a mission again. And we're turning into a tight points battle too, between Elliott and Brian. So and I think Elliott had a real bad night, but our division's different. They even announced at the drivers' meeting that we're still going to be able to drop one race. So it gets confusing. So like my worst finish is a 12th. I can drop that, So, but they said they're going to do it a little bit different this year.
Are they
going to
going to give you lollipops too?
Yeah. Well, hey, Tim, in this situation, I agree. We have a 12-race season over there. They already gave us 1 week off, so now we're down to 11. We already had a rain out. We're down to 10. Now they're letting us drop 1. So really, it's turning into 9 races. If we finish the year out without a rain out, it's turning into a 9-race championship.
I got dumped.
Yeah, it kind of takes the fun out of it. But whatever. It is what it is. It's COVID race, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's what it is. But they did announce what they're going to do is they're going to drop your worst finish before championship night. So you'll know where you're at in points before that race is. So if you have a bad night on double point night, you can't drop that one. You know what I'm saying? So the points will be refigured out before the championship night.
So you can drop any race except for the last points race.
Yeah, and you can take a week off if you want. Tim and I agree. I don't know why they're doing it. They did have it that we were going to drop 2 races at the beginning of the year before COVID hit because they had the factory stocks on every week. Like it was literally like 26 races. So they were going to say, all right, you can drop 2 and it'll be 24 races, which is a very, very long season. But then when COVID hit, they should have said, no dropping races, But
yeah,
I got a 12th. I can drop it. So that helps me out.
Well, hopefully.
But it just makes points are confusing enough. It just makes points more confusing. Either you're doing it or you're not doing it. It's either your year or it's not your year, right, Tim? That's how you feel about it, right?
Yep.
Either you're all in or you're going to take 2 weeks off and go on vacation. It's that simple.
It sucks for the guy that ran those extra 2 weeks where the other joker was at the boardwalk or something and he wins the points.
And it also sucks for the guy that had all top 5 finishes and never had a bad night. So that's part of it. And now, somebody like Ellie gets like an 18th place finish and he can drop it,
Exactly, yeah.
It's gonna be no big deal to the guy that wins the championship. He wasn't there for those 2 races and the other guy was. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's when it's gonna.
So far, though, Tim, to be honest, everybody like in the top 5 or 6 that has a shot at the championship, they've been there every week anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, you want to hit us with the top 10 on that one?
Yeah, certainly. So as we mentioned, Brian O'Shea gets the win, followed by Mike Montano, which I feel like I haven't heard his name lately.
No, he had the last time we raced a few weeks ago, he had a bad night. His car was throwing the belts off.
Oh.
And they never did. So I said, well, you must have like a water pump going bad, like, the bearing and the water pump's vibrating and throwing your belts off. It ended up that they had one of the main, the piece that goes around your main bearings and around the crank and in the engine block. the 4-bolt part of the 4-bolt main. One of the caps were broke. So so he was there with his other car. He wasn't there with the car he usually races. He was there with the newer car that Shannon Manjo drives for them every once in a while.
Okay.
So they had one of the end caps, I think they're called, in the motor brake, and the crankshaft was vibrating so bad it was throwing the belts off.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's new bearings and a new crank right there, right?
Well, yeah, the motor's out of the car and getting fixed, so
that's
why he had to run his other car, which he ran really good, and he had fast times all day and everything. So he should just keep driving that car. That's why I think
we finishing second to Brian. I'd say that was a pretty good day. So after that, we have Billy Both, Tom Ruszkowski, Kevin Flores, John Bowers, Brian DeSarno, which I'm not familiar with, Scott Riggleman, Brian Osborne, and Teresa Collins. Good for her to get a top 10. You mentioned Elliott having a bad night. He did finish 11th. Now, I think there's a slight mix-up here, or maybe you can clarify this for me, Scott. I have Matt Badessa finishing 12th and 15th.
Well, that's a good run for Matt. He gets paid twice.
Can he drop the 15th and...
Well, there's his two. If he drops that race, that's his 2 dropped races right there.
Yeah.
The Brian DeSarno number 5 car, Josh. Brian raced. I think he raced in Pro Stocks a long time ago before they turned into Sportsman. He also raced 4-cylinders for a while. That's actually the Ryan Flores car. The factory stock that Ryan Flores drove last year. Brian bought that car, and he's been racing factory stocks with us this year. He's actually getting better and better every week.
Yeah, it's up inside the top 10. That's great.
And I ran side by side with him for a while there with a couple laps ago, and he was real clean. Gave me room to race. We never even touched each other once, and we run side by side. Same with Teresa. Teresa ran very well too. Mm-hmm. I ran side by side with her for a couple laps, and she held her line very well.
Yeah, she's been improving. I know that car is capable of a lot, and with just seat time
and just to keep track of what's going on in the engine department, since they switched to the 602s, I got a 602 now. Kevin Flores has a 602 now. Teresa Collins showed up with a 602, and both Bowers cars, the one that Tony Bartone drives and John Bowers drives, they all have 602 engines.
Okay. I heard that they were giving you guys vacuum trouble with the brakes and stuff, though.
My brakes were acting funny the whole night, and the whole time I was racing, I was more worried about what was going on with my brakes than passing people. You know what I'm saying? I came home Sunday, and when I unloaded Nancy's car and I drove her car off the truck, her brake pedal feels 10 times better than mine, and I'm like, I got to look somewhere else. It was just weird because after I changed my motor, the brakes stopped working good. So a quick story I was telling Josh before you came on, Tim, that I ran to AutoZone to get a master cylinder for my car. And when I went into AutoZone, I told the kid I need a master cylinder for a 1987 Monte Carlo SS. And he asked me, who makes the Monte Carlo? I said, what do you mean?
He's a good parts counter guy.
Yeah, I said, Chevrolet. He's like, okay. And then he asked me, he's like, a master cylinder. Is that a brake master cylinder you're looking for? I said, yes, it would be a brake master cylinder I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy that drops a couple races. Right there, that guy.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, after I got my master cylinder, I changed it, and we bled the brakes out, and now my brake pedal feels awesome. So I think I was having a master cylinder going bad, but at first I thought maybe it was the difference in the camshaft in the crate motor. And, I run the power booster, so I would need a vacuum to run for my brakes, and I thought it was that, and I was even like adjusting the rear brakes up, Josh, to try to get a better pedal and all that stuff. But I really think I think my master cylinder was leaking inside the master cylinder itself, and when we did take it out, it was leaking behind the master cylinder and that seal right there that meets up with the power booster.
Yeah.
So I put a new master cylinder on mine. Now my brakes feel great. I'll know better Saturday. So I think it was just a master cylinder go bad.
Okay. Quick question. I know I'm going to forget this if I don't ask it. How many laps do you have this coming Saturday?
I was told all 25s, but usually what they do at the Cliff Krause race, they give everybody 27 in honor of Cliff.
I think I like that. I think they did that last year, and
yeah, I won because of that, because I passed the guy on the 26th lap.
Yeah. At this point, with all, especially factory stocks, what's 2 laps?
Right.
I mean, yes, a lot can happen, but also, I mean, you're adding a
Yeah,
couple seconds.
I mean, I looked at the schedule. It says 25 laps, but I'm sure it's going to get changed to 27.
I hope so.
27 for the mods and then 27 for all the sport divisions. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah.
What divisions are there next week?
Well, the factory stocks we know. The mods will be there. It's on a whole separate page of the thing. We'll get to that. We'll talk about that when we get a little bit farther. So let's see. Did we miss anything?
I do want to mention something about the factory stocks. After the heat race, our tech guys, they weighed every single car as they came off the track for inspection, and there were 6 of them that weren't legal.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yes, they had 6 DQs in the heat races, checking people's weight. And I like that spot check because there's people that race there and they're like, oh, I don't care what my car weighs. I never finish in the top 3, but I want everybody on that track to be legal because I got to pass them. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
If I got to weigh the weight, I want to know. So the tech did a really cool thing. They pulled every single car across the scale, and there were 6 cars that were light.
I can guarantee my car is heavy. So.
And I just love some people say, well, I don't know. I don't have scales at home. I'm like, well, the scales are right here every week. You can go across them anytime you want. You don't just go across them when you get called to go across them.
You're absolutely right. But because of how far back I normally finish, I felt like I was going to be a burden. Like, hey, can you scale my car for me?
Really? You want us to weigh this thing? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
90 degrees out. We don't want to mess with this thing.
Yeah, I don't want to hit the on button for your hunk of crap. Yeah, that's all right. So we had late models next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, late models were the final division of the night. I saw that Mike Collette won. Tim, did you notice how many cars were out there? I didn't see many late models in the pits.
I think they had 5 to 7. It was more
really?
than normal. Yeah, and a lot of the crowd stayed. So that means
It was early, Josh. The races got over early.
Oh wow,
yeah,
good.
the crowd.
Yeah.
So that division takes a lot of heat for only having 5 cars. But the people stayed to watch them. They didn't leave. So they're putting on a decent race. And with Shannon not being there, all the Sharks had the taste for blood. They're figuring they could win. And it was a good race. It really was a good race. And the Rooster ended up winning. So
That's cool. The Rooster's a cool dude.
So it was good. Yeah.
He actually owns 2 cars in the field. He owns his own car, and he also owns the number 43 car that Stephen Puglisi races. So the Toulettes are big supporters of that late model division. It was good to see them to get a win. And if anybody's ever met Mike, he's just a happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah.
And he's excited to finish his first or last. I can imagine how happy he was to get a win. I've seen him smile after he totaled his race car, so I can really see him smile after he wins.
He thanked somebody in Victory Lane. I guess they got a flat on their trailer on the way to the racetrack.
Oh, really?
And fans that were going to the races stopped and got them another, they used their car to go get them another tire.
Ah, cool.
And put on the things. So he thanked them. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. There were 7 cars, and talking about the Rooster, I talked to him in Messenger probably a week or so ago, and I was like, "Yeah, you should come on the podcast, at some point." And he's like, "Oh no, I couldn't do that." Like,
meanwhile, at the banquet, the year he won his championship, he gave like a 45-minute speech, but he can't come on the podcast with us.
He said he'd be all nervous or something like. He has stage fright when he's not in front of people. It's like reverse stage fright, I think. But
all right, Josh, just give us the total rundown on that one. If there's
of course. So we talk about Mike Tollett getting the win. Buddy Miller, Chris Silvestri, Ricky Giannino, Steve Puglisi, Greg Gastelou, and Andy Gamble are your top
wow, Andy
7.
Gamble, man. That's a blast from the past name, Josh. He ran Enduros with us. He's the one that had that Black Nova with the pink 64 on it.
Vaguely remember it, yeah.
Yeah, he used to run the Neats Enduros and stuff with us. He's got a beautiful number 99 late model. It's good to see him there. I do have the running order for the Cliff Klaus Memorial Race, which is coming up this week, which is September 19th. It's in honor of Cliff Klaus, former Speedway promoter, car owner. and friend. It'll be $7,127 cash to the winner of the 127 lap modified main event. That's awesome. That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Also on the card are the factory stocks 4-cylinders and Onyx legend cars.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Jeff Gravat's post about it now, and all racing in 25 lap mains. I hope that they change that to 27.
Yeah, you don't understand why they wouldn't. Yeah.
There's no reason that you couldn't do that with, especially for that night. I think it's a great way to honor Cliff and give the fans something just a little cool.
Different.
Yeah, a little different. Yep. But I mean, very very minute change, but just the right way to go, I think. All right, so now I'm looking at the times. So they're showing regular practice at 3. Spectator seating will open at 4:30. Qualifying will start at 5:30. Modified time trials. Oh, that's going to be fun. 6:10 p.m. and then main events will be after the short break after that.
Does it say anything about a rain date being Sunday? Because I don't see that, Josh.
Let's see. I'm just going to keep.
I can tell you that the Sunday series is off that weekend, so there's something the date saved for.
Let me see here.
Let's see. I'm not seeing anything.
No, there isn't one scheduled for Sunday. I thought there was, but there's not. It says here, if there is a rain date, it will be announced if and when an event is canceled. So, I mean, they could have it next Saturday, but I thought there was a Sunday rain date, but there's not. I think before COVID there was, but now with the COVID thing, they might get away with it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't see anything in this particular post about that.
Why the COVID can only get you on Saturday, can't get you on a Sunday, or what?
No, I think they just shortened the season up just to Saturdays, and that was it. You know, they're going to get in, they're going to get in, you know.
All right. So what was next on the list here?
That's pretty much sums it up for Wall Stadium. It was another good night of racing over there. We did get over early. I think the night was done by like 9:30, right, Tim?
Oh, I think I was home by 9:30.
It
wasn't that bad.
I love nights like that. You know.
Especially, we've been talking about the weather and how cool. Like I said, I think Tuesday down here we're getting a high of 68. I mean, which I remember, like, was it 2 years ago? I went to the October race at Dover, and it had to be damn close to 90 degrees.
It kind of ruins the mood, doesn't it, Josh? Because you usually know, like, the fall race is awesome. We sit there in a sweatshirt and enjoy it, and then you're like, wait, this is October and it's 90 degrees out. It kind of look at a pumpkin in a different way when it's 90 degrees out in October.
That pumpkin was getting, melty. But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of one of those things like, ooh, fall might be here, and don't get my hopes up. Don't be a tease. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Give me my pumpkin spice coffee and everything. I will take all the jokes, but yeah.
Speaking about the weather being changed, I'm sorry, Josh.
No, it's fine.
It comes to mind. It's that time of year you start to think about, sitting around by the campfire. It makes me wonder, do you think they're going to have camping this year at Turkey Derby because of the COVID? Because that's a huge part of Turkey Derby weekend, It'll suck if they don't have that.
I agree with you, Tim. Now, I think if you're with your own group,
yeah,
right.
Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference if you run? Like, say me and Nancy want to camp at Turkey Derby. What's the difference if me and her get a hotel room or sit in our camper together?
Exactly. Yeah. You're going to be around each other anyway. So,
yeah. I mean, they still might have camping. Just they might only be able to sell, like, say, if they sold 100 camping spots last year, they might only be able to sell 50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like maybe leave every in between spot open, kind of a thing.
Right.
Just for that distance. I don't know. But I mean,
Turkey Derby's gonna be tricky. We got to see where we're at with this COVID thing because it's still a few months away. It's gonna be tricky, man. I don't know if they're gonna be allowed to full capacity like they are supposed to, but I don't know. I mean, well, time will tell, I guess.
I hope that they're able to.
Something else was big time canceled. That Fleming's Pumpkin Run that they usually have down in
Yes.
South Jersey.
Yes.
That got canceled already.
And I was just down there. My cousin lives down in Egg Harbor, and I was right around the corner. I was, it's essentially like near exit 30 at that point, or whatever. Fire Road is nearby there,
Right.
South Jersey, and yeah, I was going down that road, and the next day is when I saw that the Pumpkin Run was canceled. I was like, son of a.
All right. So that closes up with Wall Stadium. I guess if you want, Josh, we want to do Evergreen results real quick, or New Egypt. What do you want? What do you have up next?
Well, I was just going to mention that Jonathan Loray, he runs in the Sportsman, right, Tim?
Yeah, Jonathan runs in the Sportsman.
Yeah. This is going on a couple weeks now. He cut me off right down here in Waretown. I was waiting to. I had a car. I was like second in line at the light, trying to go across Route 9, and the guy in front of me stuttered just a hair, and Loray was coming the other way, making a left to go north on 9, and cut us off.
I think he did that to you, Josh, because he hears you talking poorly about his Sportsman division. So he's like, "You want to talk about the Sportsman division? I'm going to cut you off right here, right now."
Make that light stop going on all the dang time, and I'll stop talking bad about the Sportsman. So
all right, I'm going to do the Evergreen stuff real quick.
Yeah, please do.
I asked my brother Tim to try to get Larry Spencer on the show with us, but I guess he didn't feel like doing that because I never heard back from him. Tim was kind of iffy today. He called me early this morning to make sure we were still on for that. I said, "Yeah, I got from 7 to 9, booked for the show." And then he disappeared on us on Messenger, right, Josh? We lost contact.
Yeah, he was quiet.
Everything's great.
To tell you the truth, it never. You know how like your phone will make like a notification. Whenever I get a message from it, it goes ding, and I had my phone right upon me the whole time, and I was watching TV, and the girls were here, and I was hanging out with them, and my phone never made a thing, and I looked down, I looked up at the clock, and I'm like, oh man, it's 6:30. I haven't heard from any. And I looked at my phone, and you guys were already talking, but it never. I don't know why I didn't do it. So yeah, I was.
All right. Well, Evergreen raced on Sunday afternoon race. They did have a little brief rain delay, but they were able to get all the races in. They put a bounty out on Matt Hirschman. He's won every modified race up there this year, I think, except one. They put a $500 bounty on him, but no one collected on it because, once again, Matt Hirschman did win the modified race. Second was Jack Ely. Third was Austin Beers. 4 was Jerry Hildebrand. 5th was Zane Ziner. 6th was Chris Turbish. 7th was Eddie McCarthy, who's also a Wall Stadium racer. The modifieds had off at Wall Stadium Saturday, so I guess Eddie decided to get his car ready for Evergreen. He went up there and raced on Sunday, which is pretty cool. 8 was Paul Mankowski. 9 was Jesse Stroll, and 10 was Roger Cross, another person that races at Wall Stadium, and he had a win there a couple weeks ago. And he'll probably most likely be at the Cliff Krause race as well. They did have 17 modified, so they did start them all. That's not a great car count for them. They usually have around 20 to 22, but this time of the year, 17 modifieds is a pretty good day, especially when they had bad weather in the forecast and they did have to sit through a rain delay. That might have scared a few people away.
Yeah. I'd say 17 is not terrible, especially with I know Evergreen's gone through.
As a racer, that's like my favorite number to race with. Anywhere from 17 to 20. I like being out on the track with that many. Once you get up like 24, 25, a lot of spins and stuff happen, But as a fan, I love seeing as many cars as possible out there,
Yeah. But good for them.
And then next was the Street Stocks. It was won by Frank Del Nero. Second was Evan Ryjelski. 3 was Brian Halecki. 4 was Frank Petrowski. 5 was Gordon Bachman. 6 was Jason Harmon. 7 was Brock Brown. 8th was Dennis Buss. 9th was Steve Tito. And 10th was Brandon Christman. They had 14 Street Stocks there. And their Street Stocks are cool. They're beautiful race cars up there. They're really cool.
How would you compare them to our late models, I guess?
They're between our factory stocks and our late models. They're exactly in between what those two divisions are. Then the 4-cylinders was the next. It was won by Danny Cassioli, who does a great job. He has a beautiful number 42 car. Second by our little buddy, Paulie Hartwick III.
Wow.
I did talk to Paul on Tuesday. Paul was here cutting my grass. I did talk to him a little bit. He said last time they were there, the fuel cell actually moved over a little bit, and he had a power wire going to the electronic fuel pump that we were talking about earlier. And it grounded out and shorted out, and the fuel pump stopped working.
Oh, that's
yeah. So Paul got the bugs worked out of little Paulie's car, and Paulie finished second. And Micah Adams, which is Scott Adams'
son.
I want to say daughter.
No, that's his son. Kenzie's the daughter.
Yeah, Kenzie Adams is the daughter. Micah Adams finished third. So two very young kids were racing with adults, and they finished second and third. Fourth was Harry O'Neill. Fifth was TJ Cabish. Sixth was Jimmy Airy. Seven was Jasper. Oh, this is a tough one.
Zygafuse.
Yeah. 8 was Tony Hilliard, which is Larry Spencer's buddy. 9 was Steve Kreitzer, and 10th was Zeb Farber. And Kenzie Adams was 11th. So Scott Adams' both two kids were in that race and finished very well. They had 15 four-cylinders there. Then the factory stocks were next. And here we go. Clean sweep of the weekend. Brian O'Shea went up there. He has multiple cars. He does have a car set up for Evergreen. So he went up to Evergreen on Sunday, and he was able to win again. So he backed up his win at Wall Stadium on Saturday night with a win at Evergreen. That's cool. That's a good weekend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stephanie Moyer was second. Kevin Brown was third. Wes Salmon was fourth. Blaine Barry was fifth. Mitch Hawk was sixth. Genevieve Yamleski was seventh. Eighth was Bob Wright. Ninth was Scott Sipe. And 10th was Nat Marsico. They had 10 cars there.
Yeah, I haven't seen Scott Sipe since back when we ran the Enduros.
Yeah.
I've been new on that.
He's got a new car, though. The thing's beautiful. I wonder what he ever did with that big Chevelle he has. That'd be a cool car to have for the Enduros still today. Scott's a great guy to race with.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say Bandoleros, it looks like he had next.
I got a funny Scott Sipe story.
No, let's hear it.
I won an Enduro race one time up there, and Paul finished like third, and they took the top 3 to victory lane. And here comes Scott Sipe's crew running down the racetrack because Paul wrecked them early in the race or something like that. And they pretty much told me, they thought I am Paul's friend, don't get me wrong. Because when I got there, Paul didn't have a timing light, and I set the timing on Paul's car, and they saw me working on Paul's car. And because I'm such a big guy, they told me, they're like, we're going to beat up your buddy, and you better stay out of it. It's none of your business. Like they want to clear it with me first that I wasn't going to jump in because they were nervous about me jumping. I just thought it was funny. I said, listen, do whatever you want. I see the wreck. He deserves it. Go do whatever you want. I just thought that was a funny story. They had Bandoleros. They only had 4 of them there. Connor Waddell won. Justin Tersak was second. Aisha Anderson was third. And Michael Sinagra was fourth. We'll call him Sinagra.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Then they have the legend cars, which I think is Evergreen's a perfect size for legend cars. The only bad thing about racing a legend car there, it's a little bumpy for those cars, They probably rattle your teeth out if you're driving one. But they had 17 cars. That's a great turnout. It was won by Daniel Carter, Alex Andrews, Kevin Nowak, which, wow, he only finished third, Josh. He's usually a winner. Brad Lowmaster, Brandon Andrews was fifth. Riley O'Keefe was sixth. Jasper, that is the same name again. Jasper Sigafus was seventh. James Anderson was eighth. Alex Schmidl was ninth. And Chris Sinatro was 10th.
I just saw that. It looks like Trump lost. Ed Trump
was
14th.
Ed Trump was only 14th. He might want to call his brother up and get a little financial help. Get that car running a little bit better. I see a couple names. Jasper, he was seventh in the 4-cylinder. He also has a legend car too. So that's pretty cool. He did double duty.
Yeah. No, it looks like they had a good day overall. I mean, once they got past that rain delay.
That was a good solid day for Evergreen. So it was cool to see them have a good day. So that wraps up what happened up at Evergreen. I'm
trying to think what else. I'm going to try to maybe I can find. Oh, geez, can I find Bridgeport results?
Or New Egypt, whatever you want to do next, Josh.
Well, New Egypt. I know that I shared it that there was a pretty significant wreck I guess, at New Egypt, and he called in a medevac that landed on the track. It looked
Oh
like,
wow,
and that was
that's
for
usually a bad sign.
that was for Jeremy Quick. Um, so I'm still looking
The
for the
story I got
picture.
is he flipped. It was a wingless sprint car, and when he flipped, somehow his head hit the racetrack.
Okay,
And I heard it was real scary. He wasn't looking very well. But by the next day, they said he was fine. They said
wow.
he's doing very well.
Okay, all right.
So
So
that's some good news.
I got the results here. Let's start with the well, we'll start with the rookie sportsman. They had an 8-lap race. That was Nick Steffen, Mason McGee, Paul Mancini, Amanda Buchel, and Sarah Napora. They had 12 four-cylinders on hand. Justin Dunn gets the win, followed by Scott Dunn, Mike Fox, Joe Gary Sr., Tim Jones, Shea Wills, Eric Diegler, Brian Barker, Dom Antonelli, and I'll just go with the other two, which is John Chalella and Joseph Wolf. So, all right, now it looks like we're going to go to we'll talk about the wingless sprint cars. Jeremy Quick, it was listed actually as a did not start. So I'm guessing that had to have been in a heat race when he was injured.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean that sucks. I mean you don't even get to your feature, but you get a cool helicopter ride.
I'm sure that costs a pretty penny too, and I'm sure that ride wasn't for free.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, the results were Rich Mellor with the win, Brian Spencer, Mick D'Agostino, Heidi Hedden, Mark Bittner, Larry Drake, Steve Kaiser, Ken Nealis, Dwayne Nixon, and John Bramall. We're going to go to the Ice Less LLC crate modified results. Howie Finch gets the win over Glenn McIntyre, Dan Fleming, Sammy March Jr., Justin Grosso, Jim Houseworth, Ryan Heim, Matt Miller, Nick Van Wickle, and DJ Hunt. Now for the Valco Wheels modified feature results. Dominic Buffalino, Dakota Kessler, who somehow didn't wreck him.
He's turning into one hell of a race car driver.
Yeah,
Josh.
look at that. I mean, I didn't get to see it, but yeah. Billy Pouch Jr., Ryan Cratchin, Wade Hendrickson, Brandon Grosso, Brian Cool, Davey Sammons, John McClellan, and Danny Book.
I didn't know Jimmy Blewett finished last. Tim, did you hear what happened to Jimmy over there?
He said he got into a little altercation with somebody. That's all. It's all he said. He didn't elaborate on it. So. Huh?
Was it Dakota
No,
Kessler?
It's number 112.
Okay.
All right, so Jimmy had a bad night over there, but he'll rebound and come to New Egypt. And I'm at Wall Stadium this Saturday. He already announced that he'll be at Wall Stadium for the Cliff Krause race, so he'll be a force to reckon with over there.
Oh yeah. Now I will say that also crowned your modified champion as being Danny Book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he finished 10th, and that was enough for to clinch.
That's probably all he had to finish. He probably rode right there. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
These
push
guys
it.
go into last nights now where they have to finish, and once they get there, they just stay there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, if you get anything else, that's just icing on the cake at that point.
And just real quick too, we just got off the Evergreen subject. I just want to say Sunday, September 20th, they have the Plum Air late model street stocks 4-cylinder, juniors 4, and a 50-lap indoor on their Roval course. They're also having big wheel races at Intermission. It's $12 admissions. Gates open at 10:30 a.m. Grandstands open at 12. Practice at 12:30, and racing starts at 2 on Sunday.
Okay.
That's it.
Now I do have the Grandview results here as well. We talked about
Grandview or Bridgeport?
I have. Oh, yeah. This is Grandview. Do you want to go to Bridgeport instead?
Yeah. Let's not do Grandview. Let's do Bridgeport.
If I can find it. I did.
You always get those two mixed up, Josh. You always have the Grandview thing in Bridgeport.
I know, because they actually post and give me stuff to work with. Why doesn't Bridgeport? Hang on, what I found something titled on the message board Bridgeport results, and it says, "Why doesn't Bridgeport post their results?" And it wasn't by me. If they want people to take an interest in their track, they have to make an effort to promote it. Jeez, that's a little rough. It's funny. We talked about the medevac for Jeremy Quick. There was also, I think it was Hidden Valley. You said, Scott.
Hidden Valley out by DuBois, Pennsylvania. They had a scary wreck too, where a guy spun into the infield, and I think he hit a couple, like a photographer and a corner worker.
Yeah, that's that's what it was.
It wasn't actually the driver that got hurt; it was the people in the infield.
Which
Scott, talking about racing, and Riggum was racing. Is it Sammy racing now again?
Yeah, they got go-karts out there, and he won some championship out there. They got a couple go-kart dirt tracks out that way. We have family that lives out in DuBois, Pennsylvania, Josh, and Sammy that used to race here at Wall Stadium. He got a go-kart, and he's out there racing, and I'm pretty sure I saw that he won the championship or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I didn't even know he was racing.
They just started back up. Yeah, they just started back up racing. And I watched a couple of videos. They're dirt tracks. It's a dirt track for go-karts. It looks like a lot of fun.
I'm going to look real quick because I'm going to go and hope that they have that fan that does that review for Bridgeport.
I have Bridgeport results. I'm getting it off a race monitor or something.
Okay. All right. No, I'll take it. But I did want to say one other thing that was worth mentioning was because it looked like it was a rough night at a few tracks. We talked about New Egypt, we talked about Hidden Valley, and then I don't know what track it was, but that outlaw stock, late model, whatever it was, spun into the infield and the passenger side hit the telephone pole in there, and that thing got mangled pretty darn good. I'm sure you guys saw the pictures of it.
Yeah. It was all over Facebook today. If that would have been the other side of the car, that would have been a scary wreck.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was it was almost dead in line with the firewall, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But that could have been broken legs and more. Go ahead, Tim.
Then again, I was thinking to myself, like I just said, that would have been bad if it was on the other side. I'm hoping that a lot of other racetracks outside of New Jersey, the other side of the roll cage, the passenger side, door bars aren't as severe as the driver's side would be. There's not as much there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping for the car's sake that it was just, you only had like one or two bars over there. If that would have been like the whole cage and it did that, then it would concern me a lot more. That would have been a really bad accident if it happened on the other side. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny you mentioned we talk about the safety and New Jersey being very strict. I was watching a 2017 Enduro from Langley Speedway. It was called like the Day of Destruction. And they had, I don't know, like 50 4-cylinders. You know, they were starting them 4 wide. I mean, it was awesome chaos, and it was a lot of fun to watch and made me long for my Enduro days again. But there was a guy, he flipped, and they rush over, they try to get him out of the car. The guy climbs out, he's wearing like a hoodie and jeans and a helmet.
I see it all the time, Josh. I see it all the time.
I just, how do you not have a fire suit or, even with Enduros, like some basic safety stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just, if you ever get annoyed with how New Jersey is, and then you look at how you don't know how some people survive in these other states. Just, it's insane. So
I found the results for
my point being, like that accident, those kind of accidents, they're the ones that you learn on how to make the car safer.
Right.
I hope that's one of them, because that would have been a really ugly.
You also learn how to make the track safer too. Down in Florida, the telephone poles are always on the inside, but they build like dirt mounds around it. There was no dirt mound or nothing around that pole, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the big tractor tires. Yeah, I'm sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
And didn't you say a tractor tire can wrap around that too, and you fill it with dirt? Tim, didn't you say you watched the whole video and the lights actually fall off the pole that the guy hit?
No, that wasn't me. No, I didn't see the video.
Yeah, someone told me you got to watch the whole thing because everybody watches the car hit the pole and then they kind of stop watching it. He said, but if you watch it a little bit longer, the lights actually fall off the pole. And
I always saw pictures. I didn't see a video.
I did see slow-mo.
Slow motion and everything.
Yeah, I saw that part. I didn't see the light fall off, but I mean, you saw the guy sideways for a while going right. I mean, it was a significant hit. I mean, it.
Yeah.
I'm just. It seemed everything I saw, the guy was okay, but.
That's also a perfect accident too, where you need the full containment seat too. You know.
Yes. 100%.
All right, so the Foley Cat Modifieds down at Bridgeport, it was won by Ryan Godown. Second was Alex Yankowski. Matt Stangl was third. Billy Pouch Sr. was fourth. Briggs Danner was fifth. Neil Williams was sixth. Richie Pratt was seventh. Joseph Watson was eighth. Ninth was Billy Osmond. 10th was Frank Yankowski. They had a lot of cars on there. They had 24 cars.
Wow.
Did not. We don't like this, Josh. Did not qualify. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars they did not start.
I don't know, Scott. Is that on your line?
30 cars on that track, but they did start 24. Did not qualify. You know, they did send a couple home. I know Billy Pouch won the championship down there, so he had a 4th place finish and was able to win the championship. South Jersey Overhead Door 602 Sportsman Feature 20 lapper was won by Steve Camery. Second was Matt Peck. 3 was Tom Moore Jr. 4 was Chris Lilac. 5 was Wayne Weaver. 6 was Eric Corman. 7th, Joe Toth. 8, Jim Gallagher Jr. 9th, Billy Chester. And 10th was Kurt Bettler. They did have 21 cars start. Did not start. Then they had 1, 2, 3, 4 cars that did not start. I don't know why, and did not qualify. They had 3 cars that did not qualify, so they had a 24-car field.
Wait. So they couldn't put the cars that didn't qualify on after the other cars didn't start?
Maybe something happened on the original start, like, you know, when they threw the green flag, or maybe in hot laps or something, you know? Yeah, it was kind of weird. I wasn't there, so I really don't know.
Okay.
Then we move on to the Sunbelt Rental Street Stock Feature of 15 lapper, won by T.J. Henry. Second was Tom Willis Jr. Third was Mike Hughes. 4th was Lee Allen. 5 was Vern McLaughlin. 6 was Jeff Drake. 7th was Tom Willis Sr. 8th was Paul Donahue. 9th was Ken Morin. And 10th was Drew Brock LeBlanc. Was 10th.
I thought you were drawing a blank.
They had 14 cars, so I'm just going to. 11th was Keith McKinley. 12th was Nick Sandone the third. 13th was Rich Stinson Jr., which is surprising. He must have had a bad night because he usually up front.
Right.
14th was John Parker. Did not start. Was Daniel Harrison. So they had 15 cars there. That moves us to the All-Star Slingshot Feature 20 lapper on the quarter mile. Was won by Amanda Angstadt. Was second was Michael Beckett. Third was Ryan Davey. 4 was Gary Bozoski. 5 was Joseph Hansen. 6, Dave Morrell. And 7th was Tom Mowry. There were 7 cars. They did have an 8-cylinder race, which unfortunately I couldn't have been down there for because that was at Wall. It was won by Pat Hires. They just listed the winner.
Okay.
So that wraps us up for Bridgeport. They did have the results, George. They did have the results posted, Josh. It was just on their own page. They didn't.
Where's Houdini? You don't race no more?
That's a rookie race. I didn't see the rookie race on there.
So what?
Maybe because back to school, the rookies stop racing in September because the kids go back to school. I noticed that a lot of racetracks have junior divisions and rookie classes like that, Tim, and novice divisions. Once September hits, they're done because they go back to school.
And was that the Danny Serrano race weekend?
Oh, that's coming up. I'm racing that day too. It's not this weekend, but next weekend they're having a huge 100-lap modified race on Sunday, and they are having the 8-cylinder Enduro cars race with the 4 cylinders. It's going to be a combination race. I'm going to go to that.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see. What else do we have on the list? I think that covers my stuff here.
As much as I hate to want to talk about it, what do you think about the Jimmie Johnson IndyCar crap, Josh?
I'm interested to see what happens.
selfishly, I like it because it gives me a reason to tune into the IndyCar race and see how he does. Secondly, I think he's getting out of one of the safest race cars in the world, which is a NASCAR Cup car.
It's really retiring.
One of the most dangerous race cars in the world, which is an IndyCar.
Yeah.
Which and IndyCars come a long way now. They have the aero screen.
Yeah, I mean, they are a lot safer. And he said the first year he is staying away from the ovals. He's just running the road courses and street courses where it is a little more safer. You don't have the high speed wrecks. But he said so next year will be 2021. He said by 2022, if they have sponsorship, he would like to run the whole thing and run the Indy 500.
I think he would do well in the 500.
I think his reason is I heard him in an interview with Dale Jr. and he said he pretty much wants to be kind of like a throwback to what like AJ Fort and Mario Andretti did. He just wants to travel all over the world with his helmet and win races and run Indy cars and maybe go overseas and race some type of prototype car or something like that, or wherever people want him to race, like 24 hours at Daytona, stuff like that. He just wants to travel. But to have the right sponsorship and make some money, you got to dedicate yourself to a division or a series. And he says the schedule of the IndyCar races is an appeal to him. It's not a 36-week schedule like the Cup. It's a lot less. Yeah. So he can dedicate himself over there and still have free time with his family and be able to go race other divisions.
Yeah, there's a real off season. Whereas you look at NASCAR and it's.
And he said he test drove that Indy car not too long ago. He said he just loved the way it drove. He says he really started liking road course racing a couple of years ago with the Cup car. And the Cup car, let's face it, it's not ideal for road course racing.
No.
It's the complete opposite. The thing's not designed to race on road courses. He said when he jumped in that Indy car, he really fell in love with road courses because now he's in a car that's built for road course racing, So he just knew he can do it and fell in love with it. And he was able to put a deal together with Chip Ganassi, and they're going racing together next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes because if nothing else, it's a story to follow. And I hope they don't overhype it. I think it's...
No, just let the guy go and race. We'll pay attention. We know he's there. That's the mistake they made with Danica. They overhyped it so much, there was no way she could have lived up to the hype. So when you tune in, you're actually disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Just let the guy go and race,
Yeah, I agree.
Now, does the 48 close up, or do they put somebody in there?
Bubba,
someone's going there.
Bubba's going there.
I don't think Bubba's going to end up there. I really don't.
I don't know. They both finished midfield.
That's a good question. Unfortunately.
The reason I want to say Hendrick keeps that fourth car going, if you want to be an elite team, which he prides himself in being one of the elite teams, then you have to have 4 teams. You can't be an elite team with 2 teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got to have all 4 to be an elite top-of-the-line team. You need, your full allotment of cars. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that car yet.
Well, who else is freeing up? Is it was it the 22? No, hang on.
Eric Jones.
The 24 and the 48, or was it?
It depends if they look outside the box, or they're going to stay inside the box and pick whoever. One of the mediocre.
I tell you what, you look at the Xfinity Series. There's some kids in that thing that are ready to move up. I mean, Justin Allgaier, I know he's been in the Cup once, but he's been winning a lot again. He could be suitable for something like that with the Hendrick ties. Plus, you got that Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric, man. They're like winning everything over there, so why not move them up,
Yeah.
I have no reason why not to.
You either do that or you pick a 25th to 30 place driver.
Like a Corey LaJoie.
Yeah, Corey LaJoie, Ryan Priest, something like that,
And see what they can do in top-notch equipment.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain's still floating around there, too. He's still high on everybody's list, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be somebody that you would think would get picked up pretty quick.
His flame's starting to flicker a little lower now, though. Don't you think, Tim? Like, he was real high for a while, but he never quite got the good ride. And now
which one are you talking about?
Ross Chastain.
Yeah. Yeah. He's starting to be not as much of a commodity. Yeah.
All right, Josh, what do you want to take care of? What's that, Tim?
Don't forget about the Larson kid going to fit in somewhere around there.
Oh, yeah. He's going to end up at Stewart Haas one of these days. Tony Stewart not letting him out of his sights,
Yeah, it's a matter of Tony Stewart doesn't care about what other people think. So
I think he welcomes that kind of
Yeah,
drama.
he likes people that'll say whatever's on their mind. And
right. Which you would think that would be.
I really think you're going to see Kyle Larson doing exactly what he did this year and next year, running all over the place with his dirt car stuff. And Clint Boyer's going to stay in that car one more year, and then Clint Boyer's going to move on, and Kyle Larson's going to end up in Clint Boyer's car. That's how I feel.
It could go that route. I'm kind of surprised you'd think almost like Tony Stewart would like a Kyle Busch as well, because he just is going to say it, and I know everybody else says that he's wanting.
He's never leaving Gibbs.
Yeah,
and Toyota. He's there for a while.
Oh yeah. I've already forgot it. Damn. Never mind. I had something and then it disappeared.
I got about 20 minutes left here, Josh. So if you want to get to the Sunday Series stuff with their email they sent us, let's hit that stuff.
All right. So I'm going to start with the Quarter Midgets, which I'm going to bring over to this screen so that I can actually read.
Yeah, they were there on Saturday night when we pulled in. They were all there racing. I don't know if it was some type of national event they had, but I'm sure you're fixing to tell us.
Yeah, they said over the loudspeaker it was a national race or tour race or something.
Okay, so this is the lower and A mains from the Jay Butler / North Titans Regional Series race.
Race.
Yeah, number 4 at Little Wall. Okay, so and it was hosted by the Garden State Quarter Midget Racing Club. Anyway, so we have I'm just going to read right through these because there's quite a few. So I'll read through these and then we'll move on to the Sunday Series as well after that. So the Senior Honda C main. What? Because they have a C main?
Should we just do the A mains?
I'll read. No, it's not that terrible.
Okay.
All right,
like I said, I got about 15 minutes left here, Josh.
I will go as fast as I can. Tyler.
Time for the alphabet soup races here. You know.
Tyler Carnival, Gianni Monteleone, Justin Ferris, Jake Fedabine, Lele Daniels, and Mason White. The Light 160 C main. Anthony Liberto, Brendan Sullivan, Jake Fedabine, Brian Runstrom, Tyler Carnival, Jack McMinn, okay, Jeffrey Strawley, Thomas Schwartz, and Jameson Ramirez. The Junior Honda B main, Keegan Stratton, Zeke Burgundy, Easton Loomis, Nick McMinn, S.J. Moyer, Ryan Patterson, Isabella Hodges, Matthew Orlick, and Cole Ferris. The Senior Honda B main, R.J. Dighton, Mary Early, Tyler Carnival, Thomas Schwartz, Anthony Desmond, Jojo Leonardo, Brandon Sullivan, Jake Fedabine, Justin Ferris, and Gianni Monteleone. The LT 160 B main, Jojo Leonardo, Trevor Haynes, Mary Early, Brian Runstrom, Dustin Sane, Anthony Desmond, Tyler Carnival, Anthony Liberto, Gianni Monteleone, and Jake Fedabine. What
I'm noticing, I'm hearing the same name a couple times, so what I'm assuming is like the first and second place of the C main moved up to the B main.
Yes, I'm assuming that. So now we're going to move on to the Rookie Red A main 1. There are 2.
This is exactly why I didn't go quarter midget racing with my kids. I went the other way.
Just there's a lot. There's a lot.
It's like Ronnie Mullen's kids and Hartwood's kids. Yeah, they're over there. Yeah, we won the blue plate, yellow slide, yellow lightweight division. We won the medium heavy.
In their defense, I understand why they run so many divisions, because you're stuck there all day anyway. If you go there with one car, you race, and then you got to sit there for 3 hours before you go out again. So if you're there with multiple division cars, at least you keep racing, you know.
Or if you can, your cart is good, but you just have to put this plate on, and then
tires on the plate or something like that.
Yeah.
Now you're the next division, you know.
Yeah, you get a little bit more time out of it. All right, so Avery Hughes, Brooke Fatabine, Landon Ferris, Mason Cantello, Madison Kilkenny. Then the rookie red A main 2, Braylon Morris, Kennedy Burrows, Tyler Fiore, Brody Gianella, and AJ Janau. The rookie blue A main, Matthew Keys, McKinley Burrows, Janelle Haynes, and Cody Bossio. The junior Honda A main, Keegan Stratton, Zake Burgundy, Anthony Liberto, Carter Hughes, David Morrison, Tyler Henyon, Samuel Macedo, Easton Loomis, Jake Mullen, there we go, and Nick McMinn. Okay, and now we have the senior Honda A main, Paulie Hartwig. All right. Brian Runstrom, oh boy, Kipton Stratton, RJ Dayton, Dustin Seen, Mary Early, Thomas Schwartz, Trevor Haynes, Tyler Carnival, and Chris Buffalino.
That being the senior division, what's the age limit for that?
I wish I
He
knew.
retired at 16, right?
Yeah, but how old are you? Paulie's young.
Yeah. He
What do
might
you
be
think
good
that-
enough where he can choose to race with
No,
them.
no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I'm getting at. It's got to be like a 14, 16-year-old division, right?
Yeah. He had a good weekend. Then he won there in the senior division. Then he raced with the adults up at Evergreen in the four cylinders and finished second. So Paulie had a good weekend.
That's a lot of traveling and some good
They had the
racing.
4-cylinder at Wall Stadium.
Yeah, they did.
They had the trailer, so I guess they had the quarter midgets.
that reminded me
just
of-
loaded it up right from Wall Stadium and headed up to Evergreen.
It reminded me of as we were pulling out of there in a little bit of a way. I know it's a big difference, but in a little bit of a way, when people used to bring their cars to Pocono when they would race somewhere else.
Yeah,
they'd have their car in the camping area
yeah.
with them.
Okay.
And, Saturday night after they qualified for the race, they'd shoot to like Mahoney Valley or Evergreen or maybe even up to upstate New York, like a Chemung or Tioga or something like that.
Okay.
All right, Josh, let's get to the Sunday series, get that stuff in, and then I got to get going here.
All right. Yeah. I'm past halfway at least. So the heavy Honda A main, Zach Leonardo, Chase Johnson, James Roselli, Cody Cordova, Tyan Tomeno, Danny Schenk, Bo Loesch, Shannon Schwartz, Landon Gibson, and Ted Ulski. I butchered that. I apologize. The LT 160 A main, Paulie Hartwig again, RJ Dayton, Chris Buffalino, Kipton Stratton, Jake Bossy, Trevor Haynes, Zach Burgundy, Brian Runstrom, Mary Early, Jojo Leonardo. The heavy 160 A main, Ted Ulski, Chase Johnson, Brady Cordova, Zach Leonardo, Zachary Cordova, Cody Cordova, C.C. Smith, James Roselli, and Danny Schenk. We're getting down to the last handful here. The rookie red A main, Brody Gianella. Sorry about that. I apologize. Janelle Haynes, Braylon Morris, Tyler Fiore, Landon Ferris, Mason Cantello, Kennedy Burrows, and Carter Haynes. The junior animal A main, Zeke Burgundy, Keaton Stratton, Jason Ramirez, Taylor Henyon, Anthony Liberto, S.J. Moyer, David Morrison, Easton Loomis, Samuel Macedo, Matthew Orlick. The senior animal A main, R.J. Dayton, Trevor Haynes, Tyler Carnival, Jake Bossy, Dustin Sane, Thomas Schwartz, Chris Buffalino, Jeffrey Stawley, and Justin Ferris. The unrestricted animal A main. That sounds cool.
It's gonna be like the same names, you know what I'm saying?
I was
Like,
going to say, why don't they just all get together and race one division? And we know it.
Chase Johnson, Cody Cordova, Zach Leonardo, Ted Ulski, Zachary Cordova, and Brady Cordova. Wow, there's a lot of Cordovas.
I heard all those names before. All right, Josh, let's move on to the Sunday series.
I have 2 left. I have 2 divisions left. That's it.
And the Cordovas, and yeah.
Barris, Hartwig.
Okay, the LT World Formula A main. R.J. Dayton, Kipton Stratton, Jake Bossy, Mary Early, Trevor Haynes, Dustin Seen. And the heavy World Formula A main. Chase Johnson, Ted Olsky, Zachary Cordova, Cody Cordova, C.C. Smith, Anthony Desimone, Brady Cordova, and Courtney Slavin. They got to stop having so many damn kids. There's 3 Cordovas in one race.
They're like the Zachariases of the.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Enough of that. So now let's go to the Sunday series because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divisions. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, so the modified microstocks are won by Tom Irvin, followed by Mike Brennan. No relation, thankfully for him, to Eric Brennan. Jim Van Dyne, I don't know. Mike Fox Jr., Josh Berry, Ashley Tyler, Brian Russell, John Paulson, Jay Smith, John Almack. The senior champs, Joe Parker and Brian Jennings. The Sportsman Blue, Alex Rogers, Aiden Grates, Alexis Riggleman, Aiden Spencer, and Bailey Riggleman. The junior champs, Will Cloud and Tyler Ritchie. Sportsman Red, Kevin Davison and Howie Conk Jr. And the World Formula Microstocks, Richie Tazinski, Mike Fox Jr., Mike Turton, Joe Gary, Brian Russell, Scott Fox, and Ashley Tyler. That was a lot faster.
The divisions have, if you realize, there's only 1 or 2. Alan Brenner and those guys, they did a fantastic job. They wanted to get the races in, but they called for rain. They called for rain all week on Sunday, and it was when we left here in the morning. It was spitting a little bit, and it kept everybody away. Do you know what I'm saying? And it actually rained over there halfway through the races. They had to draw the track off again, and it was just.
What did they just bring out the blower for that? Or...
No, they let people drive their street cars on the track, right, Tim?
Yeah, you drive your street cars on the track. Kids love it, so that's one good thing about it. It's just, it was a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. I'm trying to, that should be everything over there. Okay.
Tim, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Bailey racing, she spun out a couple of times. The car had a problem with loose on entry. Were you able to get that straightened out?
They changed tires on the right side tire, and it helped it out. She's just drifting too far up and hitting the racetrack.
Okay.
It's her line, but it did help. Mark Rogers actually. No, she just drifted up, but not as much. She was able to hold it there. They're going faster. They moved up a slide and went to covert. I said right now we'd be what? 15 races in, and we're only 5.
Yeah.
They're going a hell of a lot faster than they were this year. I'm super impressed with them, and I'm very proud of them. They're like really they're racing now, and
right.
It's to the point now where setups matter.
Right.
So we're just working on that, and they don't. They're still kids, but they don't do the same lap every single time. So you can't really set the car up because they're not doing the same groove every time. You know what I mean? They're all over the place. So we're getting there.
We'll do a quick what have we learned? I've learned that, man, if you got a kid and you race over at the Quarter Midgets, you can race in many, many, many divisions.
No wonder why Ronnie Mullen's bald.
I tell you what, once again, Ronnie and Lisa Bryce really work hard with those Quarter Midgets. Not only were they racing all day and all night over there at the Quarter Midget track, they also did the national anthem at the big track. They let all the kids drive around on the Sunday series track during the national anthem with American flags and everything. And there was a ton of them out there. And Lisa Bryce was running back and forth to make sure that went off in a timely manner and organized it very well. She works very, very hard with that Quarter Midget club. I'm pretty sure she's the president and Ronnie's the vice president. I think that's how that works.
Scott, did you guys have to shut everything down and make it a cold pit for the kids to go through, or did they?
You know what? Probably, but I didn't notice it was intermission anyway. So really, who's going to have their car started?
Right.
All I noticed right away, I think they did make an announcement, something like that. But all before I knew it, there was like 100 quarter midgets driving by my pit and going out onto the track. So
Now, that's a very sore subject in this house because the girls want to take their go-karts down there and do that,
right.
and we're not allowed to do it in the pits. So how the one is and the one isn't is total bullshit. No matter what it is, it's just crap.
I think it would be cool. I think
again,
you brought up a good point. I think it would be cool if they had this, like, pick one division of the Sunday series to have a race on a Saturday night during intermission. I think that would be pretty cool.
Well, they've had the micro stocks out there.
Yeah, they've done it before. I'm sure this year.
Well, they've had the senior divisions, but the kids aren't allowed to be in the hot pit. That's the problem. But them racing on a Saturday night compared to them being on the track with the flag is total. If the kids in the go-karts, and first of all, I'm not lobbying for it. I don't want to be down there on a Saturday. Yeah. I'm all for it not being there. I'm not complaining because I'm a bitter father, but I want to be in the grandstands. I don't want to be down there. But can't see why the one kid can go through the pits, but the other ones can't.
Yeah. Well, they weren't pitted in the pits or nothing. They literally
they just had to cross through.
Yeah, cross. I don't know what the vintage cars do. They set up somewhere else in the grandstands or whatever, and then when it was their turn, they just drive through.
Or what the factory stocks do during Turkey Derby.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what I've learned.
Can I do a quick show and tell?
Sure, yeah, sure.
So I'm going to show it to you guys first, and I'll put it up on the camera. I got a nice Haynes manual for the Saturn V rocket that took the of our Apollo men to the moon. So it's a cool little historical book.
How to rebuild a rocket?
I'm not sure I could quite build an F1 engine out of this. For one of those, but it has. It shows like all the turbo pumps and everything like that. But it's really cool because they got permission from Haynes to
it's cool.
Use the logo. So it's a little goofy thing, but it's a cool book overall. So since Scott talked about his books
that we used to buy to work on your car, that wasn't called Haynes, was it? What was that?
Haynes and Chilton.
Chilton is the other one. Yeah.
I never heard of Haynes. I was always the Chilton.
Yeah, there's like three of them. There's Haynes. Chilton, there's another one too, I think.
I only know of Haynes and Chilton, and I always keep whatever vehicle I have. So there's the Trailblazer and then my Silverado. So I have one for each, and whatever vehicle as I booked for previous vehicles and stuff like that.
Josh, where did you find that book? At a yard sale or something?
That was a gift. That was a Father's Day gift.
That's cool.
But
so you want me to start dropping parts off so you can build that thing in your backyard?
Do you think we can do precision like turbo pumps and everything like that? And
between that book and a Radio Shack catalog, you can probably build it.
Yeah. We might have to cut a few quarters, Josh, but that's your problem when we launch you.
Oh! I get to test it. I gotcha. Okay. But I don't know. It's cool. It's a good read. It's if you're into that kind of stuff. But I if nothing else, at least the people that listen to the show that have Haynes manuals that work on their own cars and stuff like that, they get it. It's cool. It's fun. All right, Tim, what did you learn today?
I learned that I asked about Scott about the market that was racing. The reason why I asked that is that he's standing out the last couple of weeks. He's run really well. I think he might even have won once, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but,
he's won a couple. Won three this year.
It was cool to hear some of the story. And I have a reason for it. They did research. They went to New Hampshire to buy that car and bring it back here. The reason why I think that's cool is because I said it in the past with the streets, with the factory stuff. All those cars have a history. Somebody bought that car brand new, took their family to Disneyland in it, and took it to the boardwalk. It's just cool to know that one came from New Hampshire and has like a total different history than all the other cars around here. I know it's stupid, but it's just something I think about.
I don't think it's stupid. I get it. I've wondered many times what my car did before I started beating the crap out of it.
Half the fun is when you strip those cars, like when you build a factory. So like Tim always loves stripping the cars I build, race cars because you could find a little history in them. There could be like Garden State Parkway tokens underneath the seat. There could be like a rain check from like a concert they went to in that car, or movie theater tickets, or a map of
Or the stuff
Wyoming
that
or
fell
something, they took a
inside the
trip out there.
door, like in the windows.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
You always find a French fry boat in there, like a McDonald's French fry boat.
Oh,
or something.
speaking of which, did you see that video I sent you guys about the guy that cleans the details the cars?
I saw it. Yeah, messy cars and stuff like that. I
Yes.
didn't watch
Oh God. Yes.
You have to watch that. You have to watch
I'll see if I can share it on the page. Unless
that car's only a year and a half. And the reason why I had 3 kids, I went through the French fry stage and the gummy bear stuff.
Tim, you probably went through it too with your kids. Whenever I tow a car that people have kids, it's cereal. It's dry cereal all over the place. Like they give them like a bag of Cheerios or something.
We were more the Cheez-It kind of people than the Cheerios. But anybody that's got, Josh, you're gonna put that put that up on the web page.
Okay.
Anybody that's got kids and knows what it's like. This car's only a year and a half old, and I can't believe
it's like destroyed.
Oh my God!
Well, actually, there was a meme I shared the other day. It was instead of buying an expensive pinata for your kid's birthday, just hang their car seat and let all the goldfish and everything fall out of that. It's terrible. Is that all you got, Tim?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So today I learned that Scott went old school and ordered a book. I learned that Scott got turned and plowed into. I learned that Tim's phone never dinged because he's a ding-dong. And I learned that Tim was more of a Cheez-It person than a Cheerios person.
And goldfish. Everybody went? Did everybody go?
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say, that book that Scott's talking about, I didn't read the book. I was lucky enough to know Lenny Bowler towards the end of his life, and his whole family, and me and Michael Bowler became really good friends. His son. If that book is half as good as some of the stories I've heard over the years, it's gonna be well worth the read. So,
Tim, just flipping through this Lenny Bowler book, I already noticed a few things that I didn't know about him. He did have like a Busch Gray National car for a little while, and he would take the Speed Weeks every year and race it up until like 85 or 87, I think I even saw up there. I never knew he did that. I never knew he had cars for Daytona.
I didn't know that they were actually for Daytona. I knew he had. I just thought he raced them, up there in Maine, because they were big up that way,
No, he actually raced. The last time he raced Daytona was with like Mike McLaughlin or something in like 87, and they had Shark Lounge on the car and all that stuff. And he did first go down there, a long time ago with like a Ford Galaxy with Bugsy Stevens. They actually would win the national championship in the modifieds, and because you win a national championship, you're qualified for that race down there because you're a national champion. And they would bring a car down to Daytona.
Yeah, good. A lot of recent history there. I got lucky enough to go to their shop, and there's stuff still on the shelf there from part numbers and stuff for coupes. That these oil filters and all those other. They don't throw anything away. They got a lot of history there, so that should be good.
Did you ever spot for the 3-car, Tim?
Yeah, when Jimmy drove it, and I spotted for, I think Tommy Cavino one time in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to dig into this book and read it. It really makes a 3-hour flight go quicker. Like I said, I already flipped through, and there's a ton of pictures, and I'm really looking forward to reading about it. Tim, was Lenny Bowler, he just worked on race cars? Was that his job, or did he have like a regular repair business?
He had a little car lot repair business, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
like Bowler's garage.
That was before my time. Exactly how much they did, I don't know, but
yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I picked the book up, I shared it in show and tell, and now when I finally do read it, I'll move it over to the reviews and recommendations. I will be away next weekend, so I won't be available to host the show on Monday. I don't know if Tim and Josh are going to do it without me, or if somebody out there wants to take a shot at hosting the show, message Josh. Come on, give it a shot. I won't be here Monday. If you want to host the show Monday, we can have a guest host. That'd be cool. Or Tim and Josh can do it without me. But yeah, I'll come back with some Florida stories, and we'll get to it.
More concrete houses, and also, and Scott, if I don't see you Saturday night, please have a safe trip and enjoy yourself.
All right, so that wraps up episode 183 of the RPM podcast, and go to Wall Stadium Saturday.
Go to wall.
Wash your hands, everybody.
All right, good night, guys.